today we got our first look at the Gran Turismo film trailer, a film that's been in the making for quite a few years, I think. This was touted quite a good few years ago, maybe even a decade ago, and it's not actually based on the game itself. While the game Gran Turismo is involved in this, it is actually based on the real life story of Jan Mardenborough. He is an English driver who qualified through a competition through Gran Turismo, and him and a select other competitors went through a whole rigorous selection process to get a real life drive with Nissan. Of course, Nissan are a Japanese company, and of course Gran Turismo, owned by Sony, created by Sony. They had that connection and that link, and I do vividly remember Jan's story because he made it to the World Endurance Championship, raced in Le Mans. There was a documentary following his whole process through Le Mans, or maybe it was actually just a documentary about Le Mans, but it was on Amazon Prime, and his story was involved in that, racing for Nissan in the LMP1 class. They were the car that had the only front engine car in that series. It didn't work out for him in the end. I think his race ended up just a mechanical issue, and he crashed out, but he also had some big crashes in his career, racing through F3 and GT3 as well. But yeah, I do vividly remember the story, and that's clearly what this is based about, is kind of his rags to riches story. So yeah, intrigued to see what it looks like. So let's have a look at the trailer.
If you miss a line in the game, you reset. You miss it on the track, you could die.
That's true.
Who do you think the best driver is?
Probably Rory.
I would dust him in a lap.
Dust?
Jan, all you do is play video games with some crazy dreams of racing cars.
Dad, you're the one that told us to always do something we love.
You know what racing cars cost?
A lot of money, unfortunately.
Look around. It's not our world, son.
What is this?
It's a contest. The best Gran Turismo players in the world
In the world.
get a chance to compete in professional racing.
Dude, this is real.
Channeling his inner Jeremy Clarkson there, Orlando.
This is real.
Good cast, this.
You really think you're going to take a kid who plays video games in their bedroom, you're going to strap him to a 200-mile-an-hour rocket? It'll tear him to
Yes.
pieces.
Oh, Red Bull ring.
It's not going to work. The guys who race are elite athletes.
But I won't stop now.
Your kids are scrawny little gamer kids.
Well, that's where you come in.
Come on, let's go!
Cause I can't stop now.
Must be a new experience for you, moving your legs.
Ugh.
You puked on my lawn.
There's no turning back now.
When you're in a race,
Typical.
it's going to be 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The G-forces will be twice what an astronaut experiences upon liftoff. I can't see anything. Hey, you get extra points for that in the game? Jesus
I was
Christ.
going to say, typical condescending coach, yeah?
This whole thing is insane, but out of the couch surfing nerds that you sent me, he is the best one. You made it.
Who comes around.
Welcome to Team Nissan.
What's next?
Major leagues.
Looks good.
The drivers
Are going to hate you.
Production value's quite high.
Whoopsie.
Dude, what is your problem?
It's part of the game. It's called racing.
It's called motor racing.
If you miss a line in the game, you reset. You miss it on the track,
Oh,
you could die.
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a big one.
I know this track. I've raced
Okay, that's a cool transition.
That's what I'm talking about.
August, okay. So, not overly impressed with that trailer, guys. Won't lie to you. It seems very cringy to me. A lot of comments in there, or lines, should I say, that just made me kind of raise my eyebrows. The dust one really kind of made me go, what, really? And, oh, you're throwing up on my lawn. It's just, there's a lot of elements in this film that are just stereotypical kind of tropes. The love story, the rival who he'll probably inevitably beat, the the hard coach and the rival who look down on him because he's a sim racer and he's had these hardships. I mean, it's a typical kind of rags to riches story, really, with Gran Turismo just playing a part of that, because obviously it was the platform/sim game that allowed Jan to go through the selection process and win a real life drive. But there was also a lot of the film in that trailer, personally, as well. As I said, I do kind of know Jan's story and his background, not obviously every single detail, but I know, and I like to think I probably know enough of it, of what happened throughout of his racing career, at least the important moments. And there was a lot of important moments that were in that. I mean, specifically the crash. Anyone who knows about his career, there's a particular crash. The one where he's in the air, where I said he looks like he took off like an aeroplane. And I mean, why is that in the trailer? I hate it when film trailers reveal so much and you go and physically sit down and watch a film and you go, I saw that in the trailer. Oh, so they actually put like the ending or an important part in the trailer. I get it's to try and draw people into the film and into the cinema to watch it, but I mean, that really should be it probably still will be a shocking moment to a lot of people, but that would have more dramatic effect if people didn't know that was coming and just sat down and watched it happen on screen. But that's just me. But look, the thing that can probably save this from a script that I don't think is going to be good, that's from my first impressions, and I think is going to let it down, is the actors. We've got David Harbour, who we know from Stranger Things, plays Hopper. We have Orlando Bloom, who I've always quite liked, to be honest. Never been an absolute standout actor, but I've always kind of liked him. Shimon Hunsu, who I've always liked. That's obviously who I couldn't recollect his name in the trailer. And then we have Jerry Halliwell. Now, I didn't notice she was even in this trailer at first glance. It was only when I came to the list of the cast members that she was on there, and I had to go back and watch it again. She plays, I think, Jan's mum, because she's sitting around the family table. There's an image of her kind of crying, which I assume is after the crash. And then these people at the bottom, I'm not too familiar with. Amelia, I think, is the one who plays the love interest. Joshua is the rival, quite clearly, who's unhappy that Jan has made it from the gaming world, the sim racing world, to a real life drive. But it does happen now these days. There are only a few people that have done that, but there are guys who are working motorsport for a living, not necessarily like driving for a living, but working motorsport for a living because they've come from a sim racing background, etc. So yeah, the other thing that can probably save this is the director, and the director is Neil Blomkamp. If you're not familiar with him, he is a South African Canadian director who has made some very good films. The ones that I'm most familiar with are District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. Kind of like sci-fi-ish film, but they've got a particular style to them. I'm going to say like a little bit grounded, but it's still sci-fi. More like they're films that are like in the near future, really, those sort of sci-fi films. And Halo Landfall as well, which is a great short film, probably one of the best adaptations that Halo has had to the small screen and the big screen, whichever way you want to refer to it. So maybe that's what brought him to Gran Turismo and translating this story to a film. But as we said, even though it's got Gran Turismo in the title, it's not a video game adaptation. It is a adaptation of Jan's true story from sim racer to a real life racing driver. It's a film that I'm just going to wait for it to come out online on a streaming service, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and watch it through there. To be perfectly honest, nothing but I saw there made me jump out of my seat and want to go buy a ticket. But yeah, that's just my initial opinions, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did it jump out to you? Does it make you excited? Does it make you want to go and play Gran Turismo? Or is it something that, like me, you're just going to wait for it to come out on a streaming service, or you're not going to watch it at all? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. So remember to hit the like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.